one of the things I think people should know as it relates to first-party data and identity is that they are inherently not the same. So first-party data is really what you know about your customer. So an individual consumer to a brand or an individual consumer to the site. So you only know the relationship they have with you. Identity is getting to what they are and what they care about as a human being. So what is their behavior online? What is their transaction history? What is more than their relationship with you? And it's really critical that you take first-party data and you combine it with identity so you have a broader picture of who a consumer really is.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because with cookies going away on the Chrome browser, there's talk in CTV that maybe IP addresses, Internet Protocol addresses will go away. So what can you tell advertisers and clients about the status of things and how they're able to know whether their advertising is being seen?
Yeah, I think to know whether or not your advertising is being seen is to really first understand your first party data, understand what you need to append to that data, what is possible to be appended today, a plan for should that data not be available tomorrow, what is your plan, and do you have an understanding of what drives your business and what kind of actions and information you need from a consumer in order to continue the robust targeting and the great messaging that you've done to the consumer, even in a world where the data things and needs may change throughout the course of your advertising campaign.
Interesting. So actually, I'd like to shift gears a bit and ask you a little bit about premium video. We've heard some concerns about whether there's going to be this race to the bottom, like we saw in like digital display and just infinite amounts of media, at least from the media owner side. But I'm just kind of curious, on your side as a buyer and your teams of buyers, what are your thoughts on premium video?
I think when it comes to premium video, we really have to redefine what we're saying is premium. So we tend to sit, in our offices, in our ivory towers, and define premium as something that is professionally produced. It is long-form content. It is distributed by a certain kind of partner. That is not consumer language. So a consumer thinks something is premium if they love it. If it's something they pay a lot of attention to, that's premium to them. That's what they care about. And so I think we need to redefine premium as high attention. So what gets high attention from your consumer that you want to reach, that you want to convert to your product or your service? To that consumer, premium is attention, and we need to look at attention as a new definition for premium.
So if I'm watching cat videos on YouTube and I love them, does that qualify or not?
I would say, sometimes even a cat video will qualify. Like if you're after a consumer and that's what they love and they spend all their time doing, who are we to say that that's not premium to them? That's what I say.
Well, no, you brought up attention, and that's one of these things that we hear a lot more about is, how could we determine whether brand messaging is actually landing somewhere, that people have paid attention, that it's sinking in, that the ad appeared in the right context to where they were receptive to that commercial break or whatever the format was.
I think that's why attention is so important, though, is that an impression is not an impression. So there are a million ways to reach someone, and just reaching them and having an impression against them doesn't mean you made an impact. And so if you can be in a space where they're paying a high level of attention, the theory is that they will have better receptivity to your advertising because they are more engaged in that content than if you're just reaching them and you may or may not even be seen by the consumer.
Yeah, lately we've heard a lot more about trying to measure attention and what the best method to do so is.
So I think that there's, still a myth and demystifying of what attention actually means, and a lot of testing and definitions around attention. It's still a theory if high attention equals higher business outcomes. So that theory needs to be fully tested, as well as defining what attention is. What is good attention? What is bad attention? What does high attention mean? Still needs to be defined and determined and standardized in the industry, but it is worth leaning in and testing that at this point.
Yeah, I hear there's speculation about whether attention will ever become a currency, let's say, where you're actually able to, negotiate the value of an ad transaction based on some kind of attention metric. But I I don't know where those discussions stand right now. Do you have any thoughts on that, or?
I don't know if attention will be a currency anytime
Okay.
soon, but it will certainly be a definition to
Okay.
help certain partners rise to the top when there's decisioning being made about where you spend your money.
Okay.
But as a negotiation currency, I think we're far off from that.
Yeah, so looking ahead, the next 6 months to a year, is there anything that's really top of mind for you? What's the outlook?
Yeah, what's top of mind for me is really this understanding of attention.
Okay.
So to understand what it is, what makes good attention, what is bad attention, how do
Hmm.
we actually use that, how do we define it, how do we measure it, how does it impact how advertising goes out to the consumer is very exciting to me, and I think it's a really important place that we step into.